the start of Act 2 of Episode 4 finally here, Riot has made a huge amount of changes to some agents and also have possibly made Icebox a playable map. Maybe I won't hate my life every time I see Icebox pop up on my screen. Right off the bat, Riot has improved the system and made it easier to place agents' abilities in tight locations, such as Omen's Shrouded Sep, Viper's Pit, Chamber's Trademark, all of Killjoy's abilities, Yoru's Gatecrash, and Sage's Wall. Riot is also doing its best to try and balance out the controllers, because we all know Astra was hands down the best controller in the game. But they are trying to make Brim and Omen more playable at the competitive level. Omen's smoke now travels much faster. They reduced the cooldown from 40 seconds to 30 seconds, but have increased the cost from 100 to 150 credits. His Shrouded Sep was also buffed by reducing the cost from 150 to 100 and decreased the pre-teleport delay from 1 second to 0.7 seconds. And now you shouldn't blind your teammates standing next to you because they have adjusted Omen's blind. But for those of you who don't know, I'm extremely talented and especially skilled in accidentally blinding my teammates, so we'll see. I've been saying Brim needed a buff for a long time and it's finally happened. His smoke's deploy time was decreased from 2 seconds to 1 second. The deploy radius increased, and the height of his smoke was made to match the other controllers. Now, me personally, I think they should have buffed the distance he can use his smokes more than what they did, but I'm just glad they increased it at all. And the stim beacon now gives you 15% speed boost in addition to the rapid fire. There was also a lot of changes to Astra as well. Now, I've never played her, but I agree she was the most overpowered controller in the game. All of her abilities were changed in some way, all the way from her stars to her astral form. Riot reduced the max stars from 5 to 4, meaning you have to be more conscious of where you want to place them. They increased the cooldown to pick up a star from 14 to 25, but on the plus side, they increased the distance you can place your stars. Her Gravity Well cooldown increased from 25 to 45, and the size of it has also been shrunken down. The Nova Pulse cooldown was increased to 25 to 45, her Nebula ability cooldown was also increased from 14 to 25, and the size was increased for that as well. Astra's ultimate was also affected, and like I've said, I never played her before, so I'm just going to throw the patch notes up on the screen, because I honestly feel like I'm trying to decipher the Da Vinci Code. Now, Viper is a key player in almost every comp match, and Riot didn't forget to give her some special attention as well. Her fuel drain increased 50% when Toxic Screen and Poison Cloud are both active, and it turns red when she doesn't have enough fuel to use this ability. Also, her Toxic Screen cooldown increased from 6 to 8, her deactivation delay of this was decreased from 1 to 0.8, and has a yellow light indicating when it's on cooldown. Viper's Poison Cloud has changed as well, increasing the cooldown after deactivating from 6 to 8. The deactivation delay of this was also reduced, just like her Toxic Screen, from 1 to 0.8, and the Poison Orb now has a yellow light as well when on cooldown. And the big change, I think, is to her Snake Bite. The duration of it was decreased from 6.5 to 5.5, which I'm actually kind of nervous to see how that affects her lineups to keep the bomb from being defused. And by now, everyone knows that Yoru had a full overhaul. I'm briefly going to touch on the details because I've already have a video on my channel about this. But his fake out charges were reduced from 2 to 1, and the decoy's HP is 150. Yoru's Gatecrash increased from 1 to 2, which is good, because now you can fake TP as well. It costs 200 credits, and instead of a cooldown reset for this, they have switched it back to the 2 kill reset. The teleport audio was also reduced so players can't hear it as well, along with increasing the speed the teleport travels. His ultimate was also affected by increasing the time you can spend in it. Now finally, what I'm the most excited about is the map changes to Icebox. Icebox was literally the bane of my existence. But we have some massive changes that will completely change how Icebox is played. They have changed Garage when entering B-Site from having the door on the side of it to having it facing B-Site. This is what it looked like before, and this is what it looks like with the new change. They have also widened the lane to get onto B-Site, so it shouldn't feel as cramped now. And here's the before and after. The cubbyhole near yellow was also widened to make the space more playable, and this is what it looks like after the change. B-Site had the most changes on Icebox, and they were big. Before yellow was placed diagonally, and that was pretty much the only cover you had. But they have turned yellow and added double boxes for more cover. Riot has also changed the double containers by blocking off the bottom container and adding a little pocket which allows a new place to plant the spike. They have also removed the double boxes as well. The outer wall has also been changed to allow controllers to better place their smokes. Here's the before and after the change. The building on the back of B-Site was also closed off. This is what it looked like before, and here's the after. Riot changed it to encourage the attackers to push up further and allow more site control. Where you can plant the spike has also been adjusted. You can now plant the spike on the bridge from kitchen. Mid has also been changed slightly. Here's a before pick, and here's the after. It's really hard to tell what they did, but they pretty much adjusted the wall to make the space easier to clear. And they now have crates that can block off the line of sight when going under tube. The ramp in mid has also been changed slightly. It was in the middle, and has been moved to be pushed up against the wall. This will allow enemies to be more predictable on where they're going to peek you from. Riot made some minor changes to A-Site as well. Before they had this awkward box thing, and since then they changed it to a full-on crate to provide more cover. Pipe was also adjusted, removing the step on the attacker's side only. Doing this makes defending A site more manageable, since you don't have to worry about someone peeking over and dinking you in the head. And the final change they made to Icebox is the doorway into A. Before it was a bit higher, and in order to prevent being shot in the foot from players on top of screens, they have lowered the height. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.